Assembly and the right to bear arms. George Washington says today, let's make some more history as the boys of the beach come to the birthplace of our nation.
Prime Network presents Men's Pro Beach Volleyball. Today from Pier 42, it's the Philadelphia Open.
They call it a bridge over troubled waters. Yes, it's the Ben Franklin Bridge over the Delaware River, which separates Camden, New Jersey from Pro Beach Volleyball's newest site, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hello again, everybody, and welcome. I'm Chris Marlowe. Let's catch you up on what's been happening in the past couple of weeks. Last time we saw our superheroes, it was in San Antonio, Texas. Ricky Ludes and Mike Dodd winning that tournament, their first tournament of the year over Frohoff and Akatubby. Then last week in Boulder, Colorado, another tournament, the Cuervo. It was played high in the mountains. St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos coming back to defeat Fro and Ak. Smith and Stoklos splitting $70,000 in prize money. And today we do battle here in Philadelphia. The first time the Pro Tour has been to this site. Happy to have working with me again my partner Paul Sunderland. And Paul, let's talk about this most unusual site.
Unique.
Well, one of a kind.
Innovative.
And rock-laden.
Absolutely. We're about a mile and a half from downtown Philadelphia, surrounded by some abandoned warehouses, some of them dating back to 1901. This is an area that's going to be redeveloped by the city of Philadelphia. Just hasn't moved down here quite yet. But one place that has come is the Beach Club. It has dedicated its theme to pro beach volleyball, and it is now the most happening spot in all of Philadelphia. They had about 4,000 people in there last night, and they turned away about 1,000 more. So it's a happening place.
Okay, if you want to whip me, you want to beat me, go ahead. But I have to tell you, before we get there, the weather is hot.
Huge factor. The East Coast this time, oppressive heat. Yesterday, 92. Today, 95 or above. The humidity right off the chart. Wind, please give us some. It's the only thing that will help these players. Dan Verbalovich making a comeback. Suffered heat stroke yesterday. He said that's the first time it's ever happened to him in his career. So there's really tough conditions.
All right, now let's get to the whipping and beating part. I told you Karch Garai and Steve Timmons would be here this week. I misinformed you. They're not here. Karch Garai attending his sister's graduation. Timmons getting his hair done. But so far, there have been some interesting finishes.
Well, Ricky Ludes and Mike Dodd playing well, but cannot get past Adam Johnson and Pat Powers either in the quarters or through this tournament. They lose and finish fourth. Eric Wirtz and Roger Clark continue to have an exceptional summer, in my opinion, finishing fifth. Scott Akatubby, Brent Frohoff, second the last couple of weeks. Fifth here, a disappointment. Muttard and Dvorak, seventh. But that's a team that I think has gelled well and is really coming on. And on the downside, Hovland and Steffes, seventh here after a poor performance last week, although they finished third in Boulder, really are getting back to your point about the rocks here on rocky ground.
Hovland and Steffes, I can tell you right now, will not be together next week. You can count on that, as you can count on Karch and Timmons being back. Let's check out the money, the Miller Lite Grand Prix bonus pool. Smith and Stoklos running away right now.
Well, St. John and Randy have put this in the bank, $70,000 apiece. Ketch Steffes and Tim Hovland, Pat Powers, Adam Johnson having a solid summer. Mike Dodd, Brent Frohoff doing well. That's the top 8 places, and then moving on down, Akatubby, Ludes, Roger Clark, and Wirtz been very good and consistent all summer. Mike Whitmarsh, the big young kid on the beach. John Hanley, missing this week, playing in Puerto Rico. Walmer and Jantz as well, filling out the top 16 and 15th and 16th, playing in an international event down in Puerto Rico, so they're not going to earn any bonus points this week.
Okay, our semifinal is coming up. St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos have already won the winner's bracket. Who's in our semi? We'll tell you. Coming up. Stay with us.
Prime Network presents 1991 Miller Lite Pro Beach Volleyball. Brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's Miller Lite, less filling really tastes great. By Killer Loop Sunglasses by Bosch & Long. By LA Gear Catapult, the anti-fatigue rebound mechanism that you can actually feel from LA Gear. By Kawasaki. If it isn't Kawasaki, it isn't jet ski. by Body Glove, everything your body wants to be.
All right, our semifinal, an interesting one. Andrew Smith and Brooke Vandeweghe going against Adam Johnson and Pat Powers after this. We are back on the men's professional beach volleyball tour. I'm Chris Marlowe. My partner is Paul Sunderland. This is the Miller Lite Philadelphia Open. We come to you from Pier 42. And semifinal action, Adam Johnson, Pat Powers against Andrew Smith and Brooke Vandeweghe, the surprise team of this tournament so far. As we look at prize money, 65 grand, the total. The winning team splits just over 13,500. Second place, 84. Third, 65. Fourth, 52. And down to fifth, still a very good payday at 4,200. Our first referee, the best dancer on the tour, Marvin Hall, also a very good referee. He also coaches a club team. Truth. Yes, a club team out in the Valley, a girls club team. And Jim Leonard is our umpire. So Marvin Hall is up, and Jim Leonard is down, and we're getting set for 1 game to 15. Pat Powers will serve first. Powers, a veteran. He and Adam Johnson have already won a tournament this year in Santa Barbara. 9 wins. 6 of those with John Stevenson. So here we go. And Andrew Smith puts the ball away early. So Andrew Smith and Brooke Vandeweghe playing together for the 3rd time this year. They started in Houston, got a 9th, and then in San Antonio a 17th. And this week they're at least guaranteed a 3rd. Andrew Smith, one of the top professional models in the world. He works for Ralph Lauren, 10 years, and Eddie Bauer. So he is a popular fellow. He's not a full-time player anymore. As Adam Johnson, who also has models looks, Paul, gets his first kill.
Well, there are no ugly guys on the Pro Beach Tour. Well, a couple maybe.
Yeah. You forgot Steve Obradovich. But he's not really on the tour anymore.
We
He's
just
retired.
don't let him on the show.
So Adam Johnson will serve. Johnson and Powers, perhaps the favorite in this match, the favorite team. And Smith bats it down. Andrew Smith and Brooke Vandeweghe.
They've been siding out very well throughout the course of the tournament, as evidenced by that was the shellacking that they put on Kent Steffes and Tim Hovland in the quarterfinals. Brooke Vandeweghe is a big young guy out of Beverly Hills, went to San Diego State, has good athletic ability, a good blocker. Ball control really improved through the years. But Smith and Vandeweghe's ability to side out, and Andrew Smith was blocking Hovland very effectively. They won in the quarterfinals, been playing very well here.
Powers and Johnson. Serving deep to Brooke Vandeweghe. And Vandeweghe having a little trouble. It's windy. And Johnson sizzles it out of bounds.
There was absolutely no wind this morning and still well over 90 degrees. I think the wind is an aid to the spectators, and the players probably enjoy it during timeout and side changes, but really will affect the play out here as it really begins to gust.
Andrew Smith to put the ball in play. Brother of St. John Smith, of course. We mostly know that. And Adam Johnson gently taps it inside. So Adam Johnson, just 26 years old. He's one of the upcoming stars on the tour as the wind is howling here at Pier 42.
Johnson and Powers, they're seated number 4 in an absolute war every week with Ricky Ludes and Mike Dodd in the quarterfinals. It's always the best match on Saturday because of the seedings they meet in that round.
Vandeweghe, and the fake block does not work as Vandeweghe hits cross court. His father, Ernie, was a professional basketball player for the New York Knicks. His brother, Kiki, is here today watching, now a professional player for the Knicks. Sister Tana swam in the Olympic Games, played on the USA national team, so a lot of pressure on Brooke to perform up to the family standards.
Some genetic pressure there.
That serve is long, and we still have no score.
I think Pat Powers, by not blocking early in this match, thinking that he and his partner Adam Johnson can win this match without his really extending himself physically, trying to save himself a bit for the finals.
Powers is up on Vandeweghe now. Fake block, and Vandy chops cross court. We mentioned that Andrew Smith is a model. Interesting, this week, Paul, didn't practice at all. He was in New York modeling for Dillard's department store. Then he golfed at Wingfoot and went on some interviews on Thursday, and he has his best finish of the year locked up. How things are funny.
Well, the moral to that story is go to New York, make a ton of money, forget about volleyball, and come out without a care in the world.
Powers with a nice dig. Double contact. Smith got it. Andrew Smith with a gentle tap shot, and the first score of this semifinal.
Because Andrew makes so much money off the court, sure, he wants to come out and win, but I think it takes a little bit of the pressure off and maybe makes it the fun that it should be. And you know, he's making enough money elsewhere that he can come out and just compete hard. Certainly does not have to worry about paying the rent.
There is always controversy in the Smith family. I guess St. John Smith is the more recognized volleyball player, but if you're talking about incomes, Andrew is right up there with St. John probably. Oh, big block by Vandeweghe, and another point.
Vandeweghe really improving that facet of his game. Yesterday blocked extremely well. When you block well, you're going to move right on up.
So Andrew Smith missed a couple of tournaments this year. He's played with 4 different players, trying to fight the right combination. Johnson chops inside.
I think this is a team that will stay together for a while. You have a good finish. Obviously, it gives you a lot of confidence. But his best finish prior to this was all the way back at Fort Lauderdale in March with Dan Vrabolovich, who's been out with a knee injury. For Andrew, there's been a lot of where is he, what's wrong.
Adam Johnson, speculation going on that now that Steve Timmons is back in town, that he might play with Timmons. He did get a call from Timmons, but Johnson has not made up his mind yet whether to continue with Powers. This could be a key match. Tournament could sway you one way or the other, could it not?
I'd be very surprised if Adam dropped Pat to go to Steve Timmons. They've had a very successful summer. They're always seated among the top teams in every tournament. They've won in Santa Barbara. You know, Pat's not the easiest guy in the world to play with, but he gets results.
Brooke Vandeweghe serving. Second in Honolulu, has not done that well since split up with Rudy Dvorak. And quite frankly, Vandeweghe's had a tough time of it. After he got the second with Dvorak, he got a 9th, then a 4th, then a 9th, a 17th, another 9th, a 17th, 13th, 9th. That's not good.
No, very consistent. He's all over the beach, so to speak. And but now maybe he's settled in with Andrew, and you got to stay with a partner in order to get good, consistent results.
And there's Vandeweghe's big hit. So
excuse me, again, Pat Powers not blocking. I think he figures they can win just by siding out. He can save his legs.
Well, if Vandeweghe can snap the ball down like that, Powers is going to be forced to block. I think they're counting on Vandeweghe. As we look at the stats on Smith, he won in 1989 with Dan Vrabolovich. Interestingly, Vrabolovich back on the tour this week, Paul. For the first time, he's had those knee problems. How'd he look?
Didn't play very well. Played with Brian Lewis. I think they finished 17th, but I saw him last night at the hotel, and he said, Paul, I suffered heat stroke for the first time in my career. He said the knee was okay, but the weather was lousy.
2-0, Andrew Smith and Brooke Vandeweghe lead. Smith and Stoklos, St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos, I should say, won the winner's bracket. They will meet the winner of this particular game. Wind is heavy. Humidity is about over 40%. And the heat, 80, 90 degrees. One of the hottest tour sites we've had, and it's dusty. Any more good news? We'll pass it along. Both teams having trouble serving. And now Andrew Smith will put the ball in play. Interestingly, Andrew's girlfriend is Jackie Swanson, who is an actress on Cheers. She plays Woody Harrelson's girlfriend. So, chance for a point. Vandy with a flipper. Oh, Powers took it overhand for double contact. Another point. So maybe the left side of the court is the good side of the court, Paul. 3-0, Smith Vandeweghe.
Absolutely. This is the good side that Brooke Vandeweghe and his partner Andrew Smith are on. And here, just the reverse flipper, and Pat gets handcuffed by this and just gaffs it up overhand.
3-0. Cut shot in there. Johnson and Powers.
Talking to Adam Johnson yesterday, and about his side and when he moved over to the left. He said, Paul, when I started out on the tour, I was a right-sider. But then I noticed all the really good big guys were right-siders. So I said, I'm changing. I'm moving over right now. And it's been a very good decision for him last year with Timmons, this year with Powers.
Very consistent. You saw the graphic. 4th place or higher in 9 out of 10. So he and Powers, it would be a tough team to split up as Vandeweghe loops it down the line. As Paul said, Vandeweghe played at San Diego State under head coach Jack Henn and co-coach Mark Warner. Number of Aztecs on the tour, including Mike Dodd and Eric Wirtz. And Brooke will put the ball in play. Interesting spelling, B-R-U-K, Brooke Vandeweghe. Johnson, and Johnson living on that cross court.
He's got such a great arm swing. Perfect technique, gets up early, hangs, see the opening, this time hitting the ball away from his body.
Powers has the ball. If you're wondering about Johnson, those 9 out of the last 10, well, last week they got a 9th, or last 2 weeks ago, I should say, in San Antonio was their worst finish. Smith puts it in the court, and he sides out. Once again, we are in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Chris Marlowe along with Paul Sunderland. Beach volleyball action continuing. This is semifinal action. 3-0 is our score. Smith and Vandeweghe leading Johnson and Powers. So far, the surprising team of Vandeweghe and Smith doing well. How did they get to where they were? They snuffed out Hovland and Steffes 15-4 yesterday on Saturday.
It wasn't that close.
No.
They just dominated.
No.
Hovland making lots of hitting errors. Andrew Smith blocking extremely well, better than I've seen him in a long time. And Brooke Vandeweghe was very consistent with his jump serving and ball control.
Coming right at you. Vandeweghe. And Powers with a nice dig. Chance for a point to get to 1. Not yet. Has a little pinball defense by Vandy and Andy. Powers puts it away. Point.
Adam Johnson doing an excellent job of setting the ball up into this 15-20 mile an hour breeze right now and letting the wind carry the ball near the net. You set this ball too close, you're going to get your partner in trouble. Pat Powers showing you 33, he can still motor, but what he does best is crank by the block.
Adam Johnson wearing his Nike foot digs. Those are protection from the sand. Give him launching ability, and they look neat. Plus his sponsor pays him for them. So all those factors account for the fact that Adam Johnson is wearing the foot digs. Although I have noticed a number of other players wearing. Brooke Vandeweghe wore them yesterday. I saw Mark Eller wear them in a tournament. So
I'm starting to see a lot of kids
on.
down on the beach playing with them on.
Vandeweghe serving. Played on the golf team at San Diego State, so he's an excellent athlete. Started off as a swimmer. 3-1 is our score, and Johnson cut, and Vandeweghe, oh, he missed it. He was right there.
Boy,
he read it perfectly.
Wedge instead of a 9-iron, just got a little bit too far underneath that. He was right there and just scooped the ball right on top of his head.
Got a bad lie here, Paul.
Good play. He's in the angle, is right there, but just scoops the ball right over his head. He's going, Andrew, jump on my face.
He peeked.
I won't jump on your face. It's worth too much, but you can jump on my face.
3-1 is our score. And Powers with a great knuckler.
Perfect set.
Andrew keeps it alive. Vandeweghe looking for the shot. No, out of bounds, and it's a point to Johnson and Powers. So good action early in our semifinal.
2 minutes on tape.
Andrew Smith and Brooke Vandeweghe ahead of Johnson and Powers at the turn. 3-2. More after this. Hello, Paul Sunderland back in Philadelphia. When we left you, Smith and Vandeweghe were leading Johnson and Powers 3-2. We now pick up the action with Smith and Vandeweghe leading Johnson and Powers 6-4.
Powers from the south, Vandeweghe Smith from the north. Service whistle here, guys.
But at least it's clear, no thunderstorms or lightning strikes at the moment, and the players play away. This is Adam Johnson, set to put the ball in play. Good serve. Oh, it just missed. It had Vandeweghe diving, but outside the orange tape.
An example of the kind of chances and accuracy and ball control that Adam Johnson has with his jump serve. A lot of players just try to rip it, but we've seen Adam cut off angles, serve the ball tough down the line.
So Vandeweghe to put the ball in play. $23,000 in earnings last year. And Johnson pounds it off Andrew Smith. So the side out going back to Powers and Johnson, and the tall fella Pat Powers will initiate. Our freestyle laps timing so far nearing 23 minutes.
Pat Powers going to send up the sky ball.
And that is the worst.
That's the dud.
Sky ball ever. Gonna hold that one. That's one he'll never forget. As the wind picks up and the face of Andrew Smith. And Powers tapping nicely on the outside. Once again, Pat Powers, we're watching his stamina. He's been out there a long time. As Paul Sunderland told you, he looked very, very tired early. Hard to lose in the semis and then make that comeback, isn't it, Paul?
Well, not only that, added again to the fact that they're seated 4th, Dodd and Luty seated 5th. That's the Saturday war right now on the Pro Beach Tour.
Shank pass, chance for a point to go to 5. Got it.
Pat Powers just easily going over the top of 6'5" Brooke Vandeweghe. Not an easy task, but Pat making it look very simple. Remember Adam Johnson cutting off the angle? This time slices line, creates an easy point scoring opportunity. AJ going with his hands, and then Pat right over the top, hitting with great extension.
Johnson very effective, able to move his jump serve around wherever he wants. He doesn't hit it as hard as some of the other players, but I think he's got better location than some of the other guys. Some of the other guys just whack it and hope for the result.
Well, he's got the best variety, I think. He can hit you the curveball, the slider, the changeup. He can go deep middle. I think he's got the best variety on his jump serve.
Vandeweghe serving. He'll jump it. Fake block on Powers, and Pat scores a kill cross court. Keep in mind, a kill is just a successful spike. A way to score a successful spike. You can't kill a ball if someone digs it. Remember that. You can spike it and someone can dig it, but if you put it down to the floor, it's registered as a kill.
No sky ball this time from the peeper.
No. Vandeweghe lobbing line, but Powers was into the net, side out.
I think Pat Powers is tired. His partner Adam Johnson going to have to try to talk him through this match, get him to work just a little bit harder. You don't see Pat commit net violations unless he's tired.
Smith.
Tight set.
And Powers able to sneak it in there, and Vandeweghe saying he touched the net.
I don't think he did. I think it was the ball.
Powers Johnson.
He snaked it down the line, and Pieper with his hands on his knees. Let's see if we can see that net on the long turn.
Got the look at Pat Powers the whole way. Here's the nice high set from Adam Johnson, tight to the net. No, that ball hits the top of the tape. Pat took his hand down inside. I think Brooke might have felt that he netted with his chest or his upper body, but right in front of Marvin Hall and no call.
Johnson. And Vandeweghe hits it out. So fake blocking away from Johnson and Powers. Let's take one more look. We have another angle we want to show you. Let's just take one closer look from the slam cam. Did he touch the net or not, Paul?
Hitting the ball inside out, away from Andrew Smith. Not with his hand.
How about doing the limbo right here, coming in? Keep it going. Andrew on 2. So we are tied at 6. Semifinal action. Smith and Vandeweghe trying to hang on as the underdog team to Powers and Johnson. 6-6 semifinal. St. John Smith, Randy Stokos won the winner's bracket. They're winning most of the tournaments on the tour this year. Cut inside. Nicely done by Adam Johnson. He's got a great cut shot.
He's got a good line shot, cut shot, roll shot, and he can hammer. Got a very quick arm swing as well. And about Andrew Smith and Brooke Vandeweghe, they defeated Hovland and Steffes. They also beat in the semifinals Akatubby and Frohoff. So not beating only one of the best teams, but 2.
And Vandeweghe pounds through.
And Adam Johnson blocking. And you see that about once every 4 weeks out here on the tour. So again, Pat Powers must be just sucking wind Adam Johnson, that's probably about the 5th time he's blocked all season long, and Brook having a much easier time putting that ball away.
Andrew Smith, a 3-time All-American at UCLA, 78, 79, and 81, although he was a reserve outside hitter and really didn't play very much. Got a great setting touch. And right to Vandeweghe, who taps it down. So Powers and Johnson giving up some free points. No blocking at the net. That's going to cost him, Paul.
Well, they're not controlling the ball well, and Pat Powers isn't known for his ball controls. Brooke Vandeweghe against no block. This is the way the game used to look a few years ago, just for the easy straight down tap.
Loved it like
50-50.
Smith serving.
Changed a little bit.
That should have been a point. Should be 7-6. And it is. Smith Vandeweghe. And the ball was poked. Was it in? Yes, it was. Johnson getting the kill.
Adam again just choosing cut shot, gets the good call from his partner right there, Pat Powers, and finding the open spot.
If you're wondering, Adam Johnson is married. His wife is Jennifer. They just recently moved to Capistrano Beach. Actually wed in Italy when Adam was over there competing.
Look at that.
Great cut serve by Adam Johnson. That's an ace.
Like one of the Phillies over at the baseball stadium, just getting frozen by the curveball. Look at the hook. Just stuck in the batter's box.
A good trivia question, Paul. You're a California guy. Can you name one pitcher on the Philadelphia Phillies?
No.
Can you name one?
Let me think about it. Wait till the bottom of the 7th.
7-7 is our score.
Smiley. That's right. Hey, you name one.
I can't. The rally's going on. Johnson. Not yet. To Vandeweghe. And Johnson left hands it into the court. Point.
Nice defense by Adam Johnson, getting his hands up early, just gatoring this thing up in the air. Just getting them up.
We change at 8-7 as Johnson will have the Philadelphia Phillies starting rotation for you after this short timeout. 8-7. AJ and PP were leading 8-7. They now lead 10-8 as we continue semifinal action. There's Powers and Johnson. Vandeweghe and Smith led early. And Kiki Vandeweghe, the shooting specialist from UCLA, led the Bruins to the 1980 second place final, and now been an all-star for a number of years. Looks a lot like Brook, does he not?
Genetics,
right?
Holding true. I asked him what he thought about Pat Riley coming to the Knicks. He said, hey, anything's got to be better than what we've been doing. He says everything they say about the New York media, ×2, and it's true.
Put pressure on Brook to have his brother Kiki here?
I don't think so.
Played very well today.
Yeah, well, but Kiki wasn't here yesterday and he played well.
Kiki's a little taller than the average Barrett. That guy in front of him is about 6'7".
And he's a small forward in the NBA.
Right. Brooke Vandeweghe 6'5", in case you're wondering, as Andrew Smith pops it up. Chance for a point. Can't do it. Johnson, and Andrew has it this time.
A couple of bad shots.
Good set there. And the people with a nice dig. Johnson chasing. Oh, let's hope he's okay. You have to be very careful when you dive into the crowd because of the metallic chairs. And AJ is okay.
Comes out with a smile on his face, and I'm glad to see it. Great effort, first of all, but a very dangerous maneuver. Pat Powers in good defensive position shanks this dig. He should be able to keep this one in play, and Adam goes over into the minefield over there, and you're lucky if you don't. You're lucky if you land in somebody's lap. Maybe she's cute. Maybe you can get a quick phone number, but the last thing you want to do is land on someone's chair.
Now, if you're wondering, when do I go into the stands, when do I don't? If you're a player, you have to be selective. If it's just a regular play, a regular dig, I don't go in there. But if it's a game saver, it's a point you got to have. It's the key play of the match. You just dug him, you're dying, you're getting cramps, then get in there.
Well, that had been a long rally. Good choice by Adam Johnson to go into the stands, and luckily he didn't get hurt.
And another timeout has been called. So 10-9 is our score. As we go back 1 year, who was making the most dough? Well, at this point in time, St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos are leading $114,000, and they're ahead of their pace of last year, Paul.
Well, they've had an excellent summer. we discuss their potential demise. It's just not going to happen. Kent Steffes and Tim Hovland down now by almost $50,000. St. John and Randy putting the money race away.
That tournament last week, a $35,000 bonus to each player. And Johnson shows the big hit. So one of the big keys, if you're going to win a lot of money, Paul, is you have to win those big tournaments that have those big paydays.
And Adam Johnson is going to win his share of money. He's winning it now, and he's going to win it in the future because of plays exactly like that. Very explosive. He's only 26. I think he's got at least 5 or 6 big years ahead of him out here.
10-9 is our score. And Powers with a dig. Ooh. Just out of bounds. That's the kind of play you want to dribble in, but side out.
Well, that ball was just long from the good side into the wind, a little more top spin, and Pat would have had a successful play.
Difference in second and third, about $1,000
per man.
Yeah, and small change for Andrew Smith, who commands the big money on the modeling circuit. And the fake block, kind of an unusual fake block by Vandeweghe that time, backing up cross court.
I think both players are hoping that the wind will play a bigger role. They won't have to get up there and do that extra block jump and get an easy score. But Adam and Pat controlling the ball very well right now.
Johnson serving. And Andrew Smith kabonging down the line. Interestingly, Andrew Smith, when he won his last tournament, his only tournament back in 1989, Andrew Smith played on the right side with Dan Vrabolovich. Here today, he's having another great finish, but he's on the left. So Smith, a very versatile player. There he is.
Like Ricky Luty's, I think he's better on the right than he is on the left, but he wants to be with a big blocker, so you make the sacrifice with a broken away and you move over to the left side.
And like Ricky Luty's, Andrew Smith has only won one official tournament. Pat Powers has won a number of tournaments.
Yeah. 6 one year with John Stevenson.
Yep. And that was a big year for John Stevenson, his biggest year. And Pat's biggest year, over $100,000. Joust.
Gotta go.
Vandeweghe. Top of the tape. Tip it. And AJ taps it.
Big mistake by Brooke Vandeweghe. Going for the ego thumper. Catches the ball right into the top of the tape, and it costs him big time.
So AJ and PP have the lead as we take the turn, 11-9. And we'll be back. Yes, we're back on the AVP Pro Tour. Rolling through the East Coast. The Miller Lite Philadelphia Open. One of the standbys on the men's professional beach volleyball tour, Tim Brown. Dr. Tim Brown, the beach doctor, will have a profile on him at halftime. Also, Paul Sunderland will visit with Brent Frohoff on the beach bag. And this is our menu after the semifinal. Have some girls for you. Interview, the beach doctor, the mailbag, the news. We got everything. And Smith and Stokos, of course, will be coming along. So stay with us after our semifinal for our annual Forge through the volleyball news. I want to find out what's happening, Paul, and what you found out about volleyball.
I spent some time on the phone with Terry Liskevich and Fred Sturm with the USA national teams, and just bringing everybody up to date with what's going on.
Okay. And some pretty people here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as there should be. I mean, this is Pier 42, isn't it?
That's her Father's Day bonnet.
Brooke Vandeweghe. And the ball shanked out of bounds. 11-9 is our score now.
Wind really picking up, Chris. Johnson and Powers now on the bad side really have to concentrate on their ball control. Conversely, Vandeweghe and Smith have to take advantage.
And it's gotten darker, too. As you can see, Andrew Smith has taken off his shades. And he will pop into the wind. He's got a pretty good jumper. Smith. Powers called cut, but the cut man was there. So is Johnson.
Nice set.
Got it into the corner.
Lucky break that time. Andrew Smith knows that they should have converted on that play. Adam Johnson hit a really weak shot right to him.
Wind still whipping just a bit. It's gusting now, but it's in the face of Smith and Vandeweghe, so they have the advantage. Johnson, for him, the wind is at his back. It's going to blow his hair forward and blow the ball out of bounds. So he has to be careful. There it goes.
You kind of like Adams do, don't you?
Yeah,
I like to have one like that.
Well, it's like, it looks like he has no hair under there. You know, like it stops at the top.
Looks like a blonde bumblebee.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah. Vandeweghe will serve. And AJ pops one out, so he might be getting a little tired also. He gets the majority of serves on his team because he's the smaller player, and he's got to hit Pat Powers' sets.
Well, I think the latter part was the key. I think AJ's in very good shape. That set was about 5 or 6 feet off the net. AJ's one of the smaller players at only 6'2", 6'3", and he needs good accuracy from his partner.
22nd sand timeout for Johnson and Powers.
I think that's their third.
The team that wins this is going to be fair meat for Smith and Stoklos. I have a bad feeling that the team that comes through this could be out of gas, and Smith and Stoklos are just gnawing to get back another win on the Miller Tour.
Well, the only really tough match that St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos had was in the quarterfinals against Adam Johnson and Pat Powers.
Time back in.
Excuse me, that was in the semis.
11-10 is our score. Johnson and Powers.
15-11. Other than that, Smith and Stoklos have just romped. They beat Andrew Smith and Brooke Vandeweghe 15-1 in the finals of the winners bracket. So if there's a fresh team here on the Delaware River, it's Smith and Stoklos.
Vandeweghe cut, nicely done inside of Pat Powers. As you might imagine, with heat and humidity, matches take longer, and we're now almost to 50 minutes and still at 11-10. So this match taking a long time, much to the delight of Smith and Stoklos. Not that they need any help. Andrew from behind.
That's trouble.
Big trouble as Vandeweghe converts, and Vandeweghe Smith go to 11-all.
Well, I said that they had to make a move right away from the good side in this wind, and they are so far up 2-0 since the side change at 11-9 to tie at 11-all.
Yeah. Okay, here it goes.
Smith once again. Blocked. Vandeweghe. So Vandeweghe makes a couple of good plays set up by the serve of Andrew Smith. And on the good side, Smith and Vandeweghe now are ahead by 1.
All 3 points on the good side. Some errors by Andrew Smith, by Adam Johnson and Pat Powers. And this time, Brooke Vandeweghe just in a pretty good spot. But I don't think Adam Johnson hit that ball above the top of the tape.
Another 20-second sand timeout. We're going to have to take a sand timeout. We'll be back. 12-11 is our score. Semifinal action in Philadelphia. More on the Prime Network after this. And Chris Marlowe, Paul Sunderland. Johnson and Powers were trailing by 1 to Vandeweghe and Smith. 12-11. We now pick up the action. Johnson and Powers ahead by 1, 14-13. Johnson serving for the semifinal game. He just served a winner. And there's a loser.
But you see the chances and the confidence he has in his jump serve location. Goes deep middle for the service winner and then tries to cut off the ace down the line.
Now the wind suddenly has dropped to just a trickle.
Pretty lucky timeouts or usage of by Vandeweghe and Smith, getting a little calm air to try to score from the bad side.
And a good look that time by Adam Johnson, putting it over Vandeweghe.
And maybe you could hear Pat Powers calling out, after you set the ball, you have to look at the defense, tell your partner where the opening is. Adam Johnson, line, rolled it over the top for the side out.
Second game point for Pat. And Johnson blocking, but Vandeweghe able to go over and inside. Another kill for Vandeweghe.
I'd like to see Andrew put some pressure on Pat Powers. Put a serve on him. Adam Johnson, such good ball control. Andrew going to walk over to the other side, maybe hit the jumper into what wind there is to Pat Powers.
Try to get it right down the middle if he can. Here he comes. And out of bounds. So a spiking error. Pretty good set by Powers going to his knees. Johnson just hit it out. And a point.
Not a bad set at all. That one's all on Adam Johnson, just cuffing it wide out of bounds.
Well, we know Johnson loves the cut shot. So do you look for it here if you're playing defense? You're Andrew Smith. Let's see. Is it going to be a cut? Yes, it is.
You know you're going to go back to the bread and butter. You have to look at your opposition and make that play. Set it up. Andrews, he just hit a ball out down the line. He's not going to want to go back to that zip code. He wants to go back, cross into the angle.
14-13. Third chance at the game for Johnson and Powers, and another sand timeout. I tell you, AVP is going to have to do something about these sand timeouts, Paul. There are just too many of them. Well, too late in the game, and they disrupt action, I think.
Well, it slows down the game. The fans are moaning and groaning.
They're asleep.
And I really think you get 4 sand timeouts
per team.
Per team.
Right.
Per team.
Right.
I think that's fine, but you should be required to use 2 of them before you get to 10.
I agree.
Or lose them.
I agree.
It's just you know, the players just put them in the bank and they use them all at the end to break up momentum.
It's too long and too boring when they keep calling these 20-second sand timeouts. That's not boring, but sand timeouts can be. 14-13 again. Third game point. Smith and Vandeweghe trying to hang in. Smith. And Smith going over Powers.
Such pressure hitting against Pat Powers. You get one by to stave off match point. Big relief.
And Vandeweghe chatting it over with Andrew Smith. They split blocking because at least blocking assignments. Vandeweghe will stay in the backcourt part of the time. This time he'll run to the net. Big play here. Oh my gosh, Vandeweghe touched the net. It was a perfect bump set right on, but Vandeweghe may have scooped it with his fingers trying to bump it up.
That's got to be the match right there. That's a backbreaker. Andrew Smith all over the shot, and Brooke Vandeweghe, you touch the net with any part of your body, violation, they lose the play.
Fourth game point. And Vandeweghe and Smith going to take a full timeout. Full timeout in defense of Vandeweghe that time, though. Andrew Smith popped that up, but he popped it too close to the net.
Well, they're on the bad side. He gets the dig. It blows near the net. Brooke made a good play. Just an unlucky break and terrible timing.
All right, once again, after our semifinal, stay with us at the half. We'll interview the semifinal winners, if there ever is one. Our producer says girls, girls, girls. I hope that's good. A visit with the beach doctor. We know that'll be interesting. Volleyball news. We have the mailbag with Brent Frohoff and more.
30 seconds,
it's
guys.
Smith and Randy Stoklos.
Played a little volleyball with the beach doctor yesterday. We got out here and worked out for about an hour and 20 minutes yesterday. Almost died.
I played my last game of volleyball with the beach doctor. He retired me. When I played with him, I felt old in a hurry.
Oh, we had a good time. We got out on this court and just
yeah, had a great time.
Hit and jumped and ran and sweat. Got a good workout.
Good. Some of the fans socked in here at Pier 42. Weren't even sure where they were going to hold this tournament, and they found this interesting little spot downtown near Midtown Philadelphia. That's where the players are staying. And now we're set for fourth game point. And Johnson, and the keeper serves it into the net. So perhaps the timeout strategy has worked.
One of the golden rules, never to serve the ball out of bounds or into the net after your opponent calls a timeout, or when you're serving for the game. So 2 strikes against the Peeper that time.
Andrew Smith serving, 13 serving 14. Oh, the ace for Andy. Ace for Andy, and we're tied at 14.
There's the spader, the ace of spades right on the back line. Andrew's been moving around, changing the location of his jump serve since they went to the bad side. That's right on the rope.
Those ropes are blowing, too. All you have to do is get a whisper of it. 14-14, must win by 2. Johnson, nice dig to go ahead. Andy, not yet. It's over. Now it is. Vandeweghe. Yes, it's good. Brooke Vandeweghe. 15-14.
What a turnaround from the bad side. I thought they were finished after the net violation. A lot of pressure on Andrew Smith to set the ball well. He sets it tight.
And now, first game point for Smith and Vandeweghe. Once again, the timeout situation, if you're not familiar, you get 2 full per team and 4 sand timeouts, 2 per player per game. So that's 6 timeouts.
Yeah, you can stop play 6 times. And, you know, I think that if a player's covered with sand, they ought to give him some time to go ahead and towel off. That's part of the game. But
I like your idea, Paul. Keep in mind, when a match is on television, also there are also the side change timeouts. So you get a break, 3-2, 5-5, 8-7, 10-10, 13-12. And when we take TV, that's an extra minute or 2, most times 2 minutes. And certainly it's an extra minute from their regular games, we're told, so there's plenty of rest. So this could be it. What a turnaround this would be, and an upset. Johnson, and Johnson cutting again.
If I'm serving Adam Johnson, which they have been throughout the course of this match, Adam Johnson now with 27 kills, a busy afternoon in the semifinal, I've got to get on his angle if I'm serving for the game.
Smith and Stokelos beat Smith and Vandeweghe 15-1 in the finals of the winners bracket. So they're probably licking their chops right now, hoping for Vandy and Andy to hang on. Andrew, he got paper in the face, I think. Did he? No,
he hit that ball right into the middle of the net.
Powers got over. It might have hit the peeper in the mouth coming over off to the net. Whatever way, we're tied at 15 when we come back. In overtime right now, as Vandeweghe and Andrew Smith battling. Johnson and Powers and Vandeweghe, another slam dunk.
That one, the little reverse finger roll, and Brooke Vandeweghe got a very, very late start on this bump set from his partner Andrew Smith as they moved to game point, but able to get the roll shot down in front of Pat Powers.
So Vandeweghe and Smith, another game point. They're second. The other team's already had a few too. And that's it. Smith and Vandeweghe upset Powers and Johnson 18-16. And the crowd is on its feet here in Philly. We'll be back. Halftime coming up. We'll talk to Smith Vandeweghe if we can from Philly after this. Doc, I've been thinking about making the finals for the first time this year.